حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أما بعد, Inshallah ta'ala, thank Allah for giving us this day for Jummah, the day of assembly, to rectify matters with Him. Today, Inshallah ta'ala, I'd like to talk about the karam or the mahram of being Muslim, or the honor, or dignity in being Muslim. And usually when we have a topic like this, as it relates to honor in being a Muslim, there's usually a reason for it. There's usually a reason for it. And whatever decisions that we make for ourselves as Muslims on the deen, then there's something that motivates that decision. Because if we're on the path and we're trying to draw near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then usually these topics are not much used. But today I'd like to talk about the honor or the karam and being Muslim, because I think it's something that we have to look at, particularly for us as Muslims in America. And one of the things I want us to understand, because usually when we deviate or stray from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is something we try to justify. We tend to want to justify, and this is how we end up losing the honor of being Muslim. But I want to tell you that anytime we make a decision about a thing, there's always 5 things, 5 barriers that's actually blocking us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always. It's always can be reduced to these 5 things. And 2 of them are enemies of the human being. The first is that shaitan, wa nafsu, right? And qawm, wa dunya, and hawahu. That's the shaitan, the devil, the nafs, and I'm talking about the lower nafs. We're talking about the dunya, as mentioned, our people, and then desire. Those are the 5 barriers that block us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though we try to use other or make other reasons or excuses for why we do what we do. One of the ayahs that I think about, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you love Him, if you love Allah, then follow me, meaning the messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And He will forgive you your sins, for Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. This is the verse that comes to mind. So if we're Muslim, if we have the sanctity of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah on us, then we should love Allah and love the messenger. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We should love those things. However, we have these influences that I mentioned, the shaitan. And oftentimes we always try to attribute our misdeeds or our deviating from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the shaitan. We take it, it's Shaitan made me do it. The devil made me do it. The reason that I'm going, the path that I'm going, the route that I'm taking is the Shaitan. Now, we know Allah in the Quran says that the Shaitan is only a waswas. That's it. He's only a whisper. He's only an influence that you can reject by saying, A'udhu Billah, by remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by simply saying, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah. When we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Shaitan flees. It's like the light that people flee from. The Shaitan flees from light, just like people flee from fire when they see it. So when the natural instinct, when you see fire, you run from it because you don't want to get burned. The Shaitan, when he hears the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he flees. Just like when the adhan is called, it says that the Shaitan flees, he runs away because the people are remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Shaitan doesn't have that much influence that we try to give him. He has his influence in the world, but we give him too much sometimes. The next thing is the nafs, the lower self. Now this is connected to our sensory, the lower self, because it's with us. It's easy, it's harder to break. They say the nafs, the lower self, is more difficult to break than the Shaitan's influence. It's difficult. And the reason that it's difficult because it's connected to the sensory. So once you experience something, that taste of haram food, or that taste of drugs, marijuana, that taste of pornography, all of these things that enters the heart. And now it's a part of hawa, this desire. Now you have a desire for it. But it was the nafs that experienced it. That's the sensory self. And this is what causes us to continue to deviate from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Shaitan really doesn't have any influence. It's the nafs. It's the lower nafs. That's why there's 3 levels. Sometimes it can be considered 4. You have the nafs amara, which is the self that's prone to evil, right? Then you have the nafs lawamma, which is that self-accusing nafs, the nafs that you feel guilty when you do bad things, right? And then you have the nafs mutma'inah, which is the higher nafs of the satisfied with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I feel good to be on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look at me, myself, I was a non-Muslim. I converted to Islam. A lot of brothers here and sisters were born into this religion. I didn't have this thing. I didn't know nothing about Islam. I was a gang member, running around in the streets of South Central Los Angeles, shooting at people for wearing the wrong colors, snatching people out of cars because they was passing through my neighborhood. Nobody did dawah to me. Nobody came to me and said, hey, read Quran. I was in a hole in solitary confinement. I did 21 years in prison before I accepted Islam. Well, I accepted Islam 3 years after being in prison, but I did 21 years before Allah blessed me to get out of here. So the Muslims inside the prison have honor. Haram, brothers that was thugs, what we consider thugs, using profanity, foul mouths, drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana. Somebody like me become Muslim. And now the prison is like, okay, the Muslims have influence, like the Shaitan, like we claim the Shaitan have on us right now, in the nafs. We don't want to be Muslim. We want to take the kufi out. We don't want people to see us as Muslims in America. But the Muslims have honor in prison. In prison. Young Muslims come to prison now because of what's happening right here in America. So many immigrants in America now. I see Afghan, Pakistan Muslims coming to prison now. 18 years old, 19 years old, wondering what they're going to do. Ending up in prison gangs, Mexican prison gangs, because they blend in with the Mexicans better. And here come the Muslims. People like me, that was not a Muslim. I was raised in a Christian family. That was a thug, a gang member, said, come on back, come to the path. Don't go over there. We got Jummah over here, brother. I know you got a family that's all Muslim. Come on over here. And by Allah, them brothers are safe because of the Muslims in prison. This is the honor of being Muslim. So then we have the dunya, the last three barriers, the qawm, wa dunya, and hawahu. These things are normal, they natural. It's okay to have people, to know people, but sometimes people have influence on us. We want to blend in so bad in America, right? We want to blend in so, even though we have honor by being Muslim, la ilaha illallah. A lot of honor. The sciences that we brought to civilization, the mathematics that we brought to civilization, they still benefit. The world is still benefiting from Muslims. But we run away from, we don't want to be seen as Muslims. What's wrong with that? We should love being Muslim. I'm honored to stand here before you and say I'm a Muslim today. Alhamdulillah. So you have people that have an influence on us when we should be influencing them with a la ilaha illallah, but yet they are influencing us to behave like them. To behave like them. Then you have the dunya. It's not bad, but it can have an influence. We love the world so much that we will sacrifice the deen. We will sacrifice our religion because we love this world, this dunya, so bad, so much. I've experienced it already. It's no good. Believe me. When you get caught up out there in this world, as a non-Muslim, as somebody that's not on the path, you're not going to enjoy it. You think it's okay now because it's the newest. It's the nafs. The nafs, when it experiences things, it get attached. It's difficult to break, like breaking a horse. More difficult than that. Whereas the shaitan, you just say, "A'udhu billah," and he flees. But once the nafs experience this dunya, this world, it's going to be difficult. And then lastly, hawa. Now, the difference between the desire and nafs, because some people confuse the two, desire is only because you've experienced something through the nafs. You don't have a desire for something unless you've experienced it. If you had never picked up that porno magazine, or went on one of these, I don't know all the computer language yet, but if you go on one of these sites or whatever, where they're selling this sickness, right? Once you experience it, now you've experienced it. The nafs experienced it. Now you like it. You enjoy getting high. You enjoy looking at pornography. All this sickness out here, right? So when you're not around it, now here comes the hawa, the desire for it. You're thinking about it. It's in your head. It's reaching your heart. Now it's in the heart, and it's difficult to get out of there. So then we make excuses about why we don't want to be on the path. Oh, my parents make it hard. You know, they immigrants, brother. SubhanAllah. Alhamdulillah. I don't want to do this. We're Americans now. We don't want. SubhanAllah. I thought this was a land of the free. We can be Muslim in America without being persecuted. Alhamdulillah. We have Jummah on the university campus, where you may be oppressed in a place like Cairo. Or maybe some political thing going on that's difficult. Got a duck, bombs being dropped on your head. You in America. It's easy to be Muslim here. Very easy. Somebody like me that already experienced the dunya, it's no good. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين وعلى المرسلين وعلى العالمين وأحب أساده وزواجه وخلفه الراشدين وشهداء الصالحين أجمعين. We're talking about Qadr, or the honor of being Muslim. One of the things I just want to share One of the things that the Prophet would do, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he would deliver khutbah on Jummah, is in the second half, he was known for addressing or speaking to pertinent things in the community, things that was going on. And I think just since we have a few minutes, I just want to say, alhamdulillah, I mean, it's still unreal to me. I mean, I'm sure some of you have heard my story. You know, serving 21 years in prison. Just actually, let me see, maybe 2 years ago, just 2 years ago, I didn't think I would ever get out of prison. I said, okay, I'm here, alhamdulillah. And I was able to study with some of the brothers that I'm sure that you know here, Sheikh Hamza Yusef. I had brothers, I was in communication with some brothers while I was there. Because, you know, as brothers was Muslims was paroling and getting out of prison, they was coming to these communities here in San Francisco, Fremont, Hayward. And I decided at that point, well, actually before that time, I said, if Allah ever bless me to get out of prison, I'm making hijrah from South Central LA, and I'm coming to there. So, alhamdulillah, that's, mashallah, that's how I ended up here. So, you know, understand that as a Muslim, you know, and we shouldn't have any fear as a Muslim in this culture, in this society. We shouldn't have any fear. I love wearing my kufi. The brothers notice I didn't even wear a thobe today. I'm an American Muslim. I wear thobes. I don't look at that. All the Pakistanis wear a certain thobe. I don't care about that. I identify with being a Muslim. When I see brothers dressed like that with their kufi, I say, alhamdulillah, that's a Muslim. I can identify this Muslim. The sisters have to wear hijab. Alhamdulillah. You know she's Muslim, right? So what's up with the brothers? You know, it's nothing wrong with being identified as a Muslim. And it's honor in being Muslim. Study the history. Study the history of Andalus, Spain. Study the history of the Murabitun, the Muslims that went back in Spain and kept the Muslims in Spain for almost 100 more years. 800 years total. The arts and the sciences that people are still benefiting from today is from the Muslims. So what are we, you know, in America, we don't want to be seen as Muslims. What's that? There's a lot of honor in being Muslim, right? The greatest architects of this day are Muslims. Whenever they want to build a big skyscraper, right? Where they go? Dubai, Qatar. One of the Muslim architects, the greatest architect in the world to this day. You can go Google it. I know y'all got that type of stuff going on. Go Google it. Is a Muslim. So what is it? Why we don't like being Muslim today? A lot of people don't like being Muslim. So I couldn't wait actually to get out here to be around the Muslims. It was only the most Muslims that it's ever been with us together at one place in prison was maybe 35 of us. That's it. And you got 1,000, 1,500 convicts surrounding us. We'll be in a little corner just like this doing Jummah while somebody might be getting stabbed right there on the prison yard. Right? And the Muslims are right over there. They started calling the Muslims a protecting agency in prison. Because the Muslims wasn't scared of being Muslim. So if a person wanted to change his life and he chose Islam, he was going to have protection. I don't care what gang he was from. You come in there with the Muslims, come on brother. Come and do Jummah with us today. That's how so many of them brothers in there became Muslim. My story is a little different. I became a Muslim in solitary confinement. Because I was looking for something to read and I kept seeing Islam when I was studying history. In a world almanac. That's all I had was a world almanac. In a hole, in a solitary confinement, a little small cell, in the dark, looking at a book. And every time I looked in history, it kept talking about the Muslims. I said, I got to investigate this. I was saying Muslim. I was calling them Muslims. I said, what's up with these Muslims? I had to find out some more about that. Alhamdulillah, I became a Muslim while I was in there. Actually, technically, I wasn't because I didn't take Shahada. I didn't know what Shahada meant. I didn't even know that it was a process. I actually told the brothers after I demanded the Quran, they only had Bibles. I said, go find me a Quran. Because I had a thug background, so when I say go give me a Quran, they were like, okay. You know, they brought me a Quran. By the time I got to Baqarah, halfway through Surah to Baqarah, I was like, okay, I'm a Muslim, that's it. I'm a Muslim. From here on out, I told all my old comrades, I said, hey y'all, look, I'm a Muslim. From here on out, don't call me Dre Dog. I'm a Muslim. What's your name then? Somebody a while ago they said Yusef, so that's how I ended up adopting the name Yusef. So when I got out and out of the solitary confinement, I stayed in there almost a year. And when I got out of solitary confinement, the brothers said, where did you take Shahada? Who gave you? I was like, what you talking about? I've been a Muslim for 6 months, brother. And they're like, you gotta take Shahada. Okay, come on. So it's honoring being Muslim. Don't run from this. I love it. I love walking down the street with a kufi on and people recognizing me as a Muslim. We should hang out together. Not like a gang, no, don't get me wrong. But at least let people know that you proud to wear the banner of Islam. Be proud of that. Alhamdulillah. With that, I'll make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا واهدنا في الدنيا والآخرة وعلى كل شيء قدير. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا واهدنا في الدنيا والآخرة وعلى كل شيء قدير. اللهم منك السلام ومنك السلام تبارك الجلال والإكرام. Oh Allah, bless us on this day of Jummah. Keep us on the path of Deen, of Islam. Oh Allah, guide our families, our loved ones that are not Muslims today. Particularly for us as Muslims in America. And one of the things that I want us to understand, because usually when we deviate or stray from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is something we try to justify. We tend to want to justify, and this is how we end up losing the honor of being Muslim. But I want to tell you that anytime we make a decision about a thing, there's always 5 things, 5 barriers that's actually blocking us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always. It's always can be reduced to these 5 things. And 2 of them are enemies of the human being. The first is that shaitan, wa nafsu, right? And qawm, wa dunya, and hawahu. That's the shaitan. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna alhamdulillah. نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أما بعد. Inshallah ta'ala, thank Allah for giving us this day for Jummah, the day of assembly, to rectify matters with Him. Today,
على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Inshallah ta'ala, I'd like to talk about the karam or the mahram of being Muslim, or the honor or dignity in being Muslim. And usually when we have a topic like this, as it relates to honor in being a Muslim, there's usually a reason for it. There's usually a reason for it. And whatever decisions that we make for ourselves as Muslims on the deen, then there's something that motivates that decision. Because if we're on the path and we're trying to draw near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then usually these topics are not much used. But today I like to talk about the honor or the karam and being Muslim, because I think it's something that we have to look at. The devil, the nafs, and I'm talking about the lower nafs. We're talking about the dunya, as mentioned, or people, and then desire. Those are the 5 barriers that block us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though we try to use other or make other reasons or excuses for why we do what we do. One of the ayahs that I think about, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you love Him, if you love Allah, then follow me, meaning the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And He will forgive you your sins, for Allah is all forgiving, most mercy.